right, the time is 6:02. This meeting of the Fern Bluff Municipal Utility District Board of Directors come to order. All directors except Board Director Barnes are present. This time we have the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Stemko, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
All right, agenda item number 4, citizens communications. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak tonight? All right. Seeing no one approaching the podium or fill out a green card, move on. Items to be removed from the consent agenda. Is General Manager, do we have anything to be removed from the consent agenda?
I don't, but I have an addition. The minutes, I've provided those to you. We just received those a little bit late. I've gone through them. They seem fine. If you want to wait to approve them, we can absolutely do that.
Just get them on the next meeting.
Okay, I'll put them on the next agenda.
You might want to just, it's absolutely minor, but the last sentence, the time is wrong.
The last.
Yeah, about today's meeting, it says 6:30.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
So we'll approve those next round.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Director Smith to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Director Stemko. All in favor? Passes 4-0. Consent agenda passes. Agenda item 7, new business. Mr. General Manager, do we have any new business?
I do not.
I see our Mr. Garner's here. Let's do landscaping next. Thanks.
Before Jack comes up here, I need to give the board an apology. Texas Lawn and Garden was not represented at the meeting last month. Not due any fault of theirs. We moved the meeting to Monday. And quite honestly, with everything that was going on about the ice, I'm not sure that I let them know about moving the meeting date. So he showed
I was
up.
here on Tuesday.
He
actually.
came on Tuesday. We weren't here, but I just wanted to clarify that. Not
Yeah.
you.
Our apologies for the extra trip.
Well, it's nice to see you all again. I do apologize for missing the meeting. I know that was an important one with the aftermath of the ice storm that we were all dealing with. I do want to let the board know that the Saturday immediately following the ice storm, we were out here with a small skeleton crew cleaning all sidewalks and making trails and the sidewalks safe for people to pass by. And then we have been busy hauling out hundreds of cubic yards of material from the district. It's been an all-out effort. This week, the final push for the parks has been made, and I believe today they completed trimming out all of the widowmakers and the broken branches high up in the trees that we didn't get to. So again, been a monumental effort on a lot of people's parts, but the parks look really good comparatively to a lot of the other areas around here. The Forestry Service said that we lost about 30% of our tree canopy in Central Texas from that storm. So as far as that storm goes, it was cataclysmic compared to the winter storm that we had a couple of years ago as far as the devastation to the environment. I know that the community lost a very special tree. They wanted to find trees over at Brightwater Park. That was, I just want to acknowledge how much of a big deal that was to the community. I was really ashamed to see that go, but it was one of the first things we did was get in to remove that large tree. I am happy to say that we were able to, provide the Fern Bluff Elementary School with about 24 or so stumps out of that tree for a seating circle and a learning circle. So I'm at least happy that we were able to.
24?
I'm sorry?
24?
I think it was somewhere around 20.
34 or 32.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
yeah. So they're gonna do some sort of a learning and seating circle outside
Good for
with those, and so kept them in the community. So it was really crazy. We were there surveying the damage, and there were continuously people coming up, driving up to go take a look at that tree. People with grown adult children who climbed on that tree who wanted to come and see if it was true. So just want to acknowledge that that's a huge loss for the community. But moving on from the ice storm, which I will say that the cleanup to a lot of the green belts and some of the chipping that needs to be done out there and everything, it could take months, if not a year, to get to all of that, just with everything else that we have to do. But the parks are safe, they're clean, and ready for spring. So weekly service began this month, and so we're going to be here every week doing maintenance now until the fall. Irrigation checks were performed at the beginning of the month, and all of those repairs have been made this week. I have instructed my irrigator to start increasing the irrigation to the plants and the turf. Everything's kind of breaking dormancy. It's time to go ahead and bump the water up, so expect to see more water usage. Annuals have been installed here at the community center for the spring, and the park signs will be completed later this month. Along with aerating sport fields, and then the plants are going to be included with mound control right now, and the first blanket application for insecticide that will take place later in April as the weather gets a little warmer. The only other thing that I'll note is that normally we like to have the playscape mulch installed and freshened up by spring break. We were not able to get to that just with everything going on with the effort to remove all of the brush and things. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Sure. Sure. Oh, great. Okay, yeah, I'll work on something and get it over to you. Yeah, no, I think it's time to do it. So, yeah, if you, I'm gonna reach out to you via email and just to get an email exchange going back and forth.
I'll do you one better. I'll send you an email as a reminder.
Perfect, and just any notes that you want to hit, like proper times and ways to irrigate to be more efficient with the water and all that stuff.
Great. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I would just say the biggest, sincerest thank you. You guys, your people have been amazing. Amazing. The amount of hard work that has been accomplished in 5 weeks since this occurred, it's just extraordinary to me. And they've done a really, really good job. So thank you. I know our community is so appreciative of it because our parks, they were just trash.
It looked like an EF3 tornado came through or a bomb was dropped off. And the morning after that we were able to get out here safely and view the property, it was absolutely unbelievable.
It really was. I've got a drone shot. A resident sent me of the big tree that fell. If anybody would like to have a copy of that, just email me. But we saw it from the ground, but seeing it from up above and the way it just came down in 3 pieces. It's just
And there was the one that was in the backyard of somebody off of one of the green belts where a whole tree had just uprooted and fell and was teetering on top of a shed.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Whoever built that shed or sells that shed should take that picture because it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it really was. It was a once in a lifetime event.
It was. And I think I told you my neighbor there in my cul-de-sac, his Bradford pear tree just split in 3. It was super loud. It was early in the morning. And I heard it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know until I went to go out front later. So our plan to remove all the rest of the Bradford pear trees is dead on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad that we have been removing problem Bradfords before an issue like that came about. But I feel like that's super important. And the fact that we've already got all of those hardwoods that are going to last hundreds of years planted in order to replace that caliper of tree that we're taking out. It's just
Agreed. Do you remember how many are left down there with some meadows?
we'll get a count to do that.
Yeah, because that would be different. We've taken out most of those just because of safety hazards. We'll finish up on some meadows because big limbs were falling on the trails and the fields and stuff down there. Very good. Thank y'all, and tell your guys
Well,
if Neff ever wants to leave,
you do the nicest guy.
he is the best. Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. And we'll keep working hard to get everything to top this year. Thank you.
We appreciate all y'all's hard work. Thanks.
See ya.
Very good. Next agenda item, let's do 8 roads committee. Any road news?
I do not have any updates. I think this whole ice storm that we had has just kind of stopped everything, but I do not have any updates on the Wyoming Springs extension.
Fair enough. All right, let's jump to agenda item 9. Vita, your manager's report, operations report.
My report is on page 20. We pretty much went over the parks and the cleanup and all that we're doing. I just want to reiterate that once we completely finish the parks, our goal is parks, trails, and then green belts. Of course, people, that back up to green belts are concerned about some of the big trees that have lost limbs and all of that. But for safety reasons, we're doing parks, trails, and then green belts. So, as Jack said, this is probably going to take us the rest of the year to get all of that done. So, the good thing is we did budget in our capital account, for extra green belt cleanup and everything. So we're just fine right now.
All right, last meeting, the board tasked you with trying to find a vendor who could come in here and help us deal with our waste material in the form of trees and limbs. And that was not successful. It did not be able to do it within the parameters the board said. Is that correct?
No. I'd like to start out by really giving our residents huge kudos because I would say 20% of our district residents have already taken the initiative. They've cleaned up their private property. They're not waiting for the district or anyone to clean them up. So they've done an amazing job. But I did try. I had tried starting right after the ice storm, but both responses that I got, the one that the company that the city of Round Rock was using, that was going to be a minimum of $160,000.
That's far outside the parameters we gave.
Far outside. Y'all gave me a not to exceed $25,000, and then we would have had to pay. What's the word I want? Disposal on top of that. There were other muds that also kind of did the same thing, went and tried and did some. Just as an example, Brushy Creek Mud is expecting low end $500,000. And it's going to be a very slow process. It's not quick. A homeowner can clean up their property because it's a confined space. But when you have to bring in trucks and chippers and
It's a
grapples-
regional event.
It is
The
a
amount of
regional event.
waste
And,
is unbelievable.
well, when he said 30%, really stop and think about that. 30% is huge given the
Geographic
regional
area.
size of this event. It's devastating. I can't remember exactly how much the city of Round Rock said last week in tonnage of the amount of debris that they've chipped, but it's just a number that's just
Sharks.
completely huge. So
It was interesting. I saw actually that Mud made that announcement about the 5 days. Actually, it was on the news that they reneged on it. Right? So
it
didn't
it
work
just
for that,
couldn't
yeah.
be done. Well, as an example, Texas Lawn and Garden, because we were still in the every other week, and it was kind of the end of the winter season. They had two crews, two trailers, the whole shebang, going all day, every day, and it took this many weeks to clean up our parks.
That's just our district.
That's just our district and just our parks. Okay, that's no trail work. So it's intense and it's just a lot of work. So I couldn't even touch it for $25,000, and then I couldn't. There was no way to say, okay, well, we can do one area and then another area, for that. Honestly, this is my opinion as the general manager. I know that this was uncomfortable and it was not necessarily what our residents wanted to hear, but this was damage on private property. And so most of our residents realized that it was their responsibility to clean up, in areas of Austin and of Round Rock, of Cedar Park, that they are trying to do cleanup. It's going to be months that it's going to lay in people's front yards. That's my opinion. So I'm just super proud of our residents.
I am too, and I just wanted to publicly thank you for retesting something. You turn around and research looking into it. It wasn't there.
It just wasn't there. Even just finding the capability to do it just wasn't there. Thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Now, this Saturday is our spring bulk pickup. The initial date I got was in May, but because of this kind of crisis that occurred, Central Texas Refuse worked with me and gave us March 18th. We will be picking up cut and bundled debris, as well as a chair or sofa or whatever that we normally pick up on these spring bulk pickups. But we have got to, and I put out a MailChimp say it has got to be cut, it has got to be bundled, because a human being has to be able to pick that up and get it into a hopper. We do have several addresses throughout the district that they've just left this big wall out there. I am in communication with our two HOAs. We're going to try and help communicate the mud for the Fern Bluff neighborhood, for Oak Brook, and for Stone Canyon. Once the bulk pickup is done, Director Stemko and I are going to do a drive of the entire district and try and see which areas are cleaned up on the 18th. I'll work with the HOA, work with Director Stemko and Director Barnes as far as what we do after that. My thought is that we'll reach out individually to homeowners, because there's been such misinformation and bad information that is out there. Some of our residents are new, and they may be thinking that the city is going to come and get this all branches. Well, we don't live in the city around here.
Yeah, a lot of them.
They don't know.
Not a lot.
That's right. And so we're coordinating. We'll work and we'll help. Everybody can understand what we're doing with this.
I'll say, if anyone's watching streaming, I've used the multi-thickness paper bags, thick bags, and put them in enough so each bag would bread. If you don't put them in bags, someone can't pick them up.
Yeah, 40 pounds is the limit.
So I would recommend going to Home Depot. So
And the paper bags are good unless it's going to be rain. If anybody thinks that we're about to get rain and they've got a bunch of brown refuse bags, go out there and put them in a plastic bag. Because if Central Texas goes to pick them up and the bottom falls out, they will not. They don't even have rooms. They can't clean that up. And just to let the board know, Central Texas Refuse, they were also hit with a situation that there was no way to manage. So it was difficult for the first couple of weeks to try and get a schedule going to where they could pick up the bundles. It's not perfect. They're trying their best to do 7 bundles per house, depending on how full the truck is and that type of thing. That may only get 3 of this neighbors, and then have to head to the landfill. For the last several weeks, they've not only been here on Monday, but they come back on Tuesday to try to finish up the streets that they weren't able to get to. I mean, if you think about it, we've always had, outside of our designated trash trucks, the capability for Central Texas to pick up 7 per house. And that's never been a huge issue for them because every house didn't have it. Well, now all of a sudden, every house has got 7, if not more. So they've staffed as much as they possibly can, given the number of trucks and everything that they have. But they're really trying to help all of their customers manage this. It's gotten better.
That actually reminds me of a question. So for the bulk pickup, is there going to be a limit to the number of bundles per bag?
No, I have not heard anything about a limit. Okay.
If there's a functional limit, I would like to disseminate that information.
I have not, they've not said anything about a limit. Now,
It's not on the flyer.
and it's not in the flyer either. As we all know, they are dependent on landfill. Everything they pick up, they've got to take, and they've got to dump it. I can't know how much is going to be out there on Saturday. Neither can Central Texas Records. Okay, but what I will assure the board is that if for whatever reason we don't get the entire district picked up on Saturday, I will reach out to them. I'll be out driving around. I'll reach out to them, see if they can possibly come on Tuesday or send their pickup trucks in to finish up on them. This is a hard thing to plan for because we don't know. We know what's out front. We don't know what is in anyone's backyard that they may put out for the bulk. Exactly. They are completely booked for bulk pickup of the city of Round Rock for all of it. But normally happens they have to take a label. But we're working really hard to get it off. I know it looks bad. It looks bad in there. But I stressed in the email that it has to be done. It's got to be done.
Yeah, that's been in multiple communications. Just how far down the region.
No, I agree.
I mean, we put it on our website.
That's good. Did y'all put it on Facebook?
I usually leave that as on.
Do it.
I think I've seen it.
I don't know.
I will.
If not, we'll put it on.
I will reach out to both HOAs to see if they can add something to their Facebook. So maybe if we're doing Town Square, Facebook, the Mud website, we'll get everybody and see if we can get the information out. That's all I have.
I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking through the packet,
Yep.
and I'm looking at these text pool operating account transfers, and there seem to be missing an account. Is that because of the way they operate?
No, we don't take them. We always redact those out of there. If someone were to
Okay.
hack into our
No, that does
system,
not.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Good answer.
if you ever want the account number, I'll be happy to share that with you.
I
But
just thought it was odd. That it wasn't there.
Yeah.
No, I understand why. How many years have I been here? I never noticed that.
well, there you go.
Until today.
Mr. Operator, do you have anything?
A couple things. We have our MS4 and complete ready for delivery tomorrow. So check that out. Wherever we have. Next up is CCR, so that will be preparing that in June. Maybe May. Either
Oh,
way.
I'd love it in the mail.
Yeah. Other than that, right now, operation is a big focus on maintenance, particularly on the backbone of the chipper, just so we can keep on.
Yeah, our chipper's got a lot of use.
This is very much so.
And how many blades have you gone through? I know you told me you bought two extras.
We haven't used them yet, so they have two sides.
Right, so you
So
told me
we're
about
just
that.
flipping them around and trying to use them as we go. So we're not ready for the next set yet. But
Okay.
whenever the used set comes out, we're actually designing a little jig so we can grind that blade and resharpen it. So yeah, so we've got extras, but as they come out, we'll sharpen them and put them back at the end of the line.
Nice.
For use.
That was truly one of the best purchases that ever made. That backbone that you're on, honestly. Because our guys, when time permits, they're out separate. Texas Lawn and Garden is doing their thing, and our guys are out there either backing them up, to get it chipped, or over in another area. And I think that's probably exactly why we have gotten this much done. That's what
Thank you.
Thank you, Board. Yeah, we appreciate it.
We try and give you all the tools you need to get them.
Yeah, because I'm not good with an axe. I'm not.
You're not Paul Bunyan is?
No, I'm not. No.
Budget committee. I have nothing to report. Budget committee. Parks and Rec. Do we have anything for Parks and Rec?
Other than what we've talked about, I don't.
Nothing else. Okay. District Community Center Committee. Nothing new.
Nope, we did get new plantings, and they look
I
fabulous.
saw that up front.
Oh, they look great.
Those look nice. Weed Restriction Committee. Do you have anything? All right. Security Committee. Director Tiber, do we have anything for Security Committee?
Half an hour.
We're almost done. All right, nothing for Security Committee. I don't have anything either. Communications Director Smith.
Yeah. I was looking for some topics for the newsletter. We've got one, obviously, now in terms of some advice in terms of, spring lawn care. I was wondering if there's anything else we want to add. Do we want to add any commentary about the storm and the results, of our efforts to clean up the parks, or just
I think that's a great idea. And if we talk about regional, how much,
Mhm.
The 30%, because I think that would be really good information for those that don't keep up with the news. It's easy. Now, I'm guilty of it. It's easy to get very, very focused on
Mhm.
what's just going on right here at my house or right here in the neighborhood. But perhaps we could talk about regionally and how 30% of tree loss and that type of thing. I think it would be a good idea.
All right, I'll connect with you. 'Cause
Okay.
It sounds like you've got a lot of insight on that we
So
can put into words.
if I may, we might be able to furnish you some information for MS4. That way, it's a part of our permit process.
Perfect.
Getting the message out for MS4 stuff. We can probably get you a little there.
Okay. I'll look for that from you. Thank you.
Director Smith, eventually, legislative update forthcoming. What was the next meeting, just on legislation of interest, respective water districts. If you'd like, I could reach out to radio that, so to speak. If there's anything in there that's particularly interesting, if they want to know, would be able to
Okay, that'd be great.
storm the one that I think might be most pertinent.
Yeah, if you can start the ones that you feel are the most relevant or interesting to the residents, that would be great. Thank you, sir.
It'll be within, hopefully the full time.
Sounds great.
What's your
Well, last month, it was the middle of this month.
Okay.
By the end of the month.
I'll have
By
it-
the end of the month.
I'll have it to you before.
Since it's a second quarter newsletter, so before the end of the quarter.
Which brings us to item number 10, attorney's report.
Yes, Mr. President, directors, as hopefully you're aware by now, we have the correspondence that is I am leaving the firm effective April 15th. I'm very honored, which is again, that's nothing because of me. However, decided to hang out with you, scale back on, law I practice on a day-to-day basis. projects that we've got the foundations laid out for, I think we're just not have an opportunity to pursue them, which they were intentional at the time. So, all of them absolutely honored to be an attorney. It's something that I'm going to kind of spread my wings, so to speak, and work on some of these passion projects that we have planned for the last couple of years. But as I said, we'll be doing like shield. It's a very small handful of our current clients will come with me to the new firm. And just to kind of give you some context, I'm basically in charge of 15 different districts of water supply corporations. Not in charge, but I have to keep a pulse on that many. My goal is to scale that back to about a quarter of that as far as my day-to-day clients are concerned. And I'm hopeful to be honored at Fern Bluff, but I'm willing to consider following me. I don't have a proposal as of right now, but as far as the legal services are concerned, I can tell you that nothing much will change other than the phone number and email address that you reach me at before we decide to follow me over to my new firm. As far as rates are concerned, the structure of the representation agreement, it will look very, very similar to what the district already has in place with McGinnis. Unlike McGinnis, my overhead will be substantially less. Be officing out of the house, and so my hope is that I can provide you the same level of service, but also deflect a lot of the rate increases that you'll have seen in the last 4 years or so. There's been 2 rounds of increases, if I recall correctly, and without the overhead and things like that, I'm confident we can keep the rates in check for a much longer period of time. So, again, the hope and the commitment is to provide not just the same level of service, but quite frankly, more example service. Because right now I'm doing this every day, and the hope is to kind of do this, keep it moving. And so, anyway, that's the long and short of it. My last day firm again was April 15th. So I'll still be with y'all, I believe. Got the calendar correct. I think we'll still have another meeting here before that. If the board would McGinnis does not have anybody else who does what I do as far as the practice area is concerned. So there won't be an opportunity to carry on with McGinnis, but I'm more than happy to bring some folks forward. Other colleagues and other firms in Austin who are very good at what they do, have the same skill set, plus some, and I'm more than happy to offer up some referrals and whatnot. But at the same time, again, I'm hopeful and I'm hopeful that which I'll be willing to consider coming up with. The long and short of it, yeah, it's exciting and terrifying. Mostly the latter. But yeah.
Board meeting primary,
I would be honored.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Yeah. What kind of support are you going to have in the back office?
I've had that question more than once, Mr. Smith. Initially, it's just going to be little old me. And there's a couple of different reasons for that, but the primary reason is I want to be personally acquainted with the location of all the bodies, especially at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I just really want to have a very fixed focus on the handful of clients that I do hope will come with me. so I can concentrate on them and again not have that scattershot attention that I have to practice right now. So initially, it's just going to be me, but I do have a very talented legal assistant in mind, and I've already talked to her and laid the groundwork for her coming over and hopefully providing some services for the firm a few months down the line. But as with any small business, to get up and off the ground, keep the lights on, food on the table initially, and then delve into everything once it goes down.
I think you have to worry about the AC and not the food.
The air conditioner is probably more important, quite frankly. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Going into summer.
So, well, I guess, what do we do about the minutes until you have somebody brought on board? We can
So
do it
I've
ourselves?
actually been drafting your minutes for the last several
Oh,
several
all right.
months. That's probably part of the reason that you're referring me tonight. But I'll continue to do that. But my long-term goal, again,
Is to get-
on
right.
legal assistant and have minutes drafted as we're going along. So that there's not usually knows any more last minute, hey, here's your minutes the day before the meeting. I really want to strive to have those to you much farther in advance, so there's not this last minute homework for you all, so to speak.
Very good. All right, next meeting date, April
Do
11th.
we have to put any kind of, this on the agenda for the next meeting to talk about or
Yes,
take a vote
sir.
about this?
So for next month, what as a Jane about is that we'll have an agenda item that's basically says accept proposals and qualifications from law firms for general counsel services for the district.
Okay.
That will afford y'all the opportunity again to interview other firms, to engage other firms, to interview me, to engage a firm. It will be a very broad agenda item. It'll give y'all a leeway to deliberate or you need to.
Thank you.
Keep in mind, just because your attorney is a consultant does not mean that we're not personnel as far as open meetings act is concerned. There's your district engineer, your accountant, et cetera. But the point being on that is that if the board would like to deliberate qualifications and what you like or don't like about the proposal, whether it be mine or another law firm, y'all do not need to have moving during the executive session for that conversation. You'll need the executive session for personal matters without my being there. So that will afford y'all the opportunity to speak candidly. I'd like to think I've always encouraged that, concerns or anything forward to me, but at the same time, not only give y'all an opportunity to discuss freely and not have, ginger heads that are staring at you while you're doing this.
Great, thank you.
Next meeting date, April 11th. Everyone good with that?
Uh,
No issue?
let's see.
I will be here.
Oh, yes, it's the 11th. I'm sorry. I don't have a problem.
I'm checking. I'm pretty sure I don't either.
I'll give you a second to check.
April 11th. Oh my God, I've got
It's
nothing
past
on the
weekend.
calendar that
Oh, wait,
I'll have to
no.
put this one.
Can
Now
I
is
ask
the
a question?
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Okay. We obviously have been using Zach for the district's legal work for some time now. My understanding with, I was going to ask this, but my understanding with consultants like that, it is not the same as needing to go out for proposal.
It's professional service.
It's professional services. So the board can decide to go out and interview other attorneys, or they can just choose to stay with their professional services.
Yes,
Am I thinking right?
yes, ma'am, that's
Okay.
correct. Unlike construction contracts where the water code says that districts shall seek proposals and bids, the professional Services Procurement Act actually is strangely almost the antithesis of that. And it states that you cannot accept or retain professional services on the basis of bidding. So, you can't get a bunch of attorneys together and say, make us an offer, so to speak. What the Professional Services Procurement Act requires is that if you do seek proposals, that you do it under request for qualifications, RFQ is the phraseology we use, but it doesn't mandate that you do it the same way that contracting for a construction project is. So you shall go out for bids for a construction contract, but essentially you may seek qualifications for professional services that you're not required to. And get down to the minutia of the Procurement Act. It basically states that the government entity can engage a professional based on reputation, name, prior services, a lot of subjective factors, quite frankly, other than what the proposed rate is. So your cure is that.
That was education. Christopher qualifications. I did not know that.
I'm full of useless
We
knowledge,
weren't-
Mr. President. Y'all got others.
We learned something today.
That's
Oh my
the
gosh.
way.
Very good. Next agenda item, future agenda items. Do we have anything about the legal services?
Legal services, and then the February 13th minutes.
Oh yeah, well, you're getting caught up on the minutes.
Yes, and y'all have them. If y'all have any changes, after y'all read those, let me know, and Zach and I'll.
Very
take
good.
care of it.
All right, agenda item 13. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Director
Second.
Smith, second by Stemco. All in favor? Motion passes 4-0. The time is 6:44. This meeting is ended. Adjourned. It's 42 minutes.